The stream is coming back, grab your brush and just relax. The stream is coming back, grab your brush and just relax. The stream is coming back, grab your brush and just relax. The stream is coming back, grab your brush and just relax. The stream is coming back, grab your brush and just relax. The stream is coming back, grab your brush and just relax. The stream is coming back, grab your brush and just relax. The stream is coming back, grab your brush and just relax. Anytime priming, Zenny highlighting, money wash glossing, dry
sounds
perfect
great.
timing.
Put this glove
Favorite
on.
color missing, guess I gotta mix it. This color's way too shiny, matte varnishing. Come and take a listen to this paint vision. Arthur's on the couch, dreaming of commissions. Don't drink the paint water, it might blur your vision. Mini painting studio.
Alright, I gotta figure out what,
live. We're kicking. The stream is coming
The best
back.
layout
Grab
for me
your
today,
brush
because
and
I've got
just
a bit of a
relax.
mess
The
as
stream
usual
is coming
in front of me,
back.
so give me
Grab
just
your
one
brush
second.
and just relax. The stream is coming back. Grab
I
your
was
brush
painting
and
up
just
an entire
relax.
site
The
set
stream is
that we
coming
finish up
back.
tomorrow,
Grab
so that's
your
another
brush and just relax.
50-something
The stream
miniatures
is
down.
coming back. Grab your
Putting me
brush
at like
and just
200 for
relax.
this week,
The
so we're
stream
doing
is
good.
coming back. Grab your brush
Alright.
and just relax. The stream is coming back. Grab your brush and just relax.
So, let's see where we're hopping over here. Alright.
The stream is coming back. Grab your brush and just relax.
Yeah,
The
thumbs
stream
up
is coming back.
for
Grab
being
your
the
brush
only
and just
person that
relax.
produced
The stream is
and
coming
sang
back.
their own
Grab your
intro
brush
song.
and Just
Just
relax.
hit
The
a big old
stream is
thumbs up
coming
for that,
back.
just saying.
Grab your brush and just relax.
Nobody
The
else out
stream
there
is
like that.
coming
Alright,
back.
so
Grab your brush and just relax. The
give me
stream
one more
is
second here while I
coming
share
back.
this out.
Grab
We'll be
your
right
brush
back.
and just relax. The stream is coming back. Grab your brush and just relax. The stream is coming back. Grab your brush and just relax. Anytime priming, Zenny highlighting, money wash glossing, dries perfect timing. Favorite color missing, guess I gotta mix it. This color's way too shiny, matte varnishing. Come and take a listen to this paint vision. Arthur's on the couch, dreaming of commissions. Don't drink the paint water, it might blur your vision. Mini painting studio live, we're kicking. The stream is coming back. Grab your brush and just relax. The stream is coming back. Grab your brush and just relax. The stream is coming back. Grab your brush and just relax. The stream is coming back. Grab your brush and just relax. The stream is coming back. Grab your brush and just relax. The stream is coming back. Grab your brush and just relax. The stream is coming back. Grab your brush and just relax. The stream is coming back. Grab your brush and just
Alright, we're done with that. We're done with that, alright? We no longer need that lead in. Alright, so give me just a second here. We're gonna throw up my secondary view so I can see what's going on over here. Boom, I can see what's going on over here. Alright, so we're going to be starting here. Oh, of course, you know, there we go. Let's get some music popping. Alright, so yeah, today we are working on some very awesome old school lead miniatures from 1983. These are Orcs from TSR. Old school. So, we've got quite a few here that range all the way... Ooh, I don't want to break anything. That's obviously a problem. So, we have miniatures here that range all the way from the, like, pig look of Orcs all the way to what I would consider more so like what we're used to right here. So just a different view, but definitely, you know, something rare, something you don't see every day. So figured this would be a really good example to put on stream for something fun to work on. So boom, obviously we've got our Zenithal highlight down like a true champ. So now we're just going to go through and knock out some of this other color on top relatively easily. We're gonna be taking our time. This client, of course, sent me hundreds of miniatures, some of them more recent, but most of them, at least in the first portion of his commission, are like really awesome old pieces like this, so let me know if it's too dark on camera. I think it looks okay from what I'm looking at right here. So, but shout out to everybody watching on YouTube today. Shout out to everybody watching on Facebook. I am focusing more so now on YouTube directly. We're not even gonna mess with Twitch anymore. That was a total waste of 6 months trying to go. I mean, I guess I got partner or whatever, or affiliate, but definitely a waste of time over there. So, if you used to watch over there and you're seeing me on Facebook now, you won't see me over there anymore. We're done on Twitch. Kind of like Instagram, I'm also thinking about not using Instagram anymore because it's not like for anything. So, I don't know, we'll see. I stopped using my personal Instagram a few months ago, and that's been pretty nice. So, utilizing our Zenithal highlight, of course, we're just going to be applying this on top, making sure I have nice, even surface tension. So that way we can get some of that shading to come through and help us out just a little bit. The brush, of course, today being a DaVinci Maestro Series 30. So this one's a shorter, very skinny brush. Perfect for thin paint, like I traditionally work with all the time. If you guys watch the Reaper Toolbox stuff, Anne, who is the Queen of Paint over at Reaper Miniatures, yesterday they were doing a live stream, and she went in depth. Like, we were talking back and forth about different brushes because she's like the only other like pro level person that I know in the industry that uses DaVinci brushes. Like, nobody else talks about them. And so we talked about the different series yesterday, and it was really cool because she like automatically knew which ones I was talking about and went through all of that stuff. So, but it's definitely a good episode if you guys go back and watch. Or I don't know if you can. I don't know how they have their Twitch set up, but you can definitely catch the replay on their YouTube channel as well. So you can see that conversation there. Really, really good info. Of course, I was monopolizing time, but whenever you get to talk to somebody like Anne, I will take full advantage of that. Alright, so that's armor. That's armor. Let's see, he's got some of his little leggings showing right here. Some of these chicken tenders down here. Throw some paint on these chicken tenders. Now then, I would love to really honor these and do non-metallic metal and stuff, but that's just not a part of this commission, so no thank you. But we're definitely going to make them look awesome. Do feel free to share this video out wherever you think it needs to go. I will greatly appreciate you for that. And go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't before. The link is in the description on this video, so definitely hop over there and hit that subscribe button. I would really, really, really appreciate it. I have like over 120 something videos on there with like no views because I never cared about it. So if I'm going to be focusing on that a little bit more now, go ahead and give it a little bit of attention too. I think there's something like 300 hours of video on there. Something crazy. I did delete a couple that are on there just because I noticed a few of them were where a couple commission painters literally copied exactly what I was doing on some games. So those are gone just because people are really stupid and don't think, you know, anyone notices when they do stuff like that. So did have to delete a couple, but everything else is on there pretty much from the last like 2 years. So a lot of good re-uploads. Alrighty, so straighten this up a little bit. Now these are lead, so the metal is extremely funny to work with. Beyond the fact that it can kill you, but we're not too concerned about that. Definitely not licking the brush today. Not that it would do anything to kill me, but you know, just being cognizant of our situation with the paint colors. Now, I don't really know if these are fingers or not right here, just because the sculpt is a little bit wonked, so I'm just going to pretend like those are fingers. Seeing as how his sleeves are uncovered, he's in short sleeve armor, I would assume that his fingers are probably exposed as well. Remember, right now you can get the digital version of the periodic table of painting, or color, whichever I called it in the stream, but those are on sale for $5. Definitely go check that out. I've had a couple people buy them. And then, you know, not that I would ever prepare for it necessarily. Yesterday, someone did buy it that is colorblind. So I did make a very rough edit for colorblind painters as well that can give you like directional information on the colors that you wouldn't be able to see. So if you're someone who's colorblind or has trouble with the red-green spectrum, then definitely something to think about at least. You know, it's like obviously you still can't see the colors, right? But I've identified them at least in the columns to where, you know, if someone's like, I want this to have a red cape with whatever, you know at least like what is going to be orange, what is going to be more yellow, different things like that. So that is available for anybody that purchases that is interested in that part of the tool as well. So we're just batch painting everything. So if you want to see sort of where we're at in terms of pre-shading, you can see all that lovely detail and highlight automatically pops out. Boom. Frank says, does anyone still produce those orcs? Nope. Not at all. Not at all. These are not made. So the next color that's going to be going down on their skin, we're going to be applying a pretty much like a warm purple. Right now I have, well, so right now I have bruised purple. So we'll apply that. And then on their skin too, we'll go back through and we'll apply some of that money wash. Some of that money wash 2.0. But I have been in love with that wash. It is definitely very, very smooth. So you can check it out right here. Here's what I applied it on yesterday. But really what's important to note right here is the level of transition. Let's see if I can get my... Oop, there we go. So the level of smoothness of this right here versus how much was applied at once is actually like what I'm most interested in working with it with. Because this essentially is how I would traditionally apply my highlights, right? So I'm able to knock that out like in no time at all. That's really the only main difference with this money wash versus other incarnations is that it's just so much smoother and heavier. Sorry, let me fix my focal point. Boom, there it is. Okay, so that's the skin on everybody. So now let me get out this bruised purple right here. And that is what we will work on next. Give me 1 second to see who all is in here today. What's up, Brian? Frank, Michael, Rad. Who else is watching? Jamie's watching. Everybody that's watching over on YouTube, hello as well. So now I'm throwing in that bruised purple to start bringing out details. These guys don't even have eyes. They're so funny. I love these minis. Not that I care about not having eyes. You guys know how I play that game. But... so just increasing our zenithal work there. I didn't have anything else on that. Alright, there we go. I like this guy. I think the pose is really cool. Now, this tip of this weapon has been replaced. That's not the original one. But, I mean, something from the 80s that you can't even find on eBay. I mean, I searched eBay right before I got started just to see if I could find, like, better images, and couldn't find anything there. I found, like, collector's information on it, but... so we are definitely painting on a piece of history right now. Painting on a piece of history. I really like this sculpt as well. Let me know if the camera's too dark today, anything like that at all that may be out of the norm. I know I made some changes yesterday, so please let me know, because I can always brighten it up. I think I made it darker yesterday, if I remember correctly, so do let me know if anything is out of whack. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Alright, moving on to this crazy looking guy. What's up, Peter? How's it going, man? I streamed yesterday. Did y'all not see that one? I know it was at a different time though, to be fair. Look at how subtle that transitional color shadow is right there. I want to try and get some of the ridges here underneath the nose and everything, just so that we pick up that detail, because there's not much going on with this dude in the face, so just kind of got to try and make it look like there's more going on there than there really is. Here we got another ugly old orc boy right here. Sort of piggy. These sculpts are. They sort of remind me of, like, I don't even know, dude, like Ugly Muppets or something. I mean, shout out to their moms and everything, but... nah, I mean, I love it. You know, stuff like this was before really tropes for fantasy even existed necessarily, especially in miniatures, so... no shade thrown. It is quite the treat to get to work on them. As they say, these miniatures are older than me! Even though I have been painting for a super long time, they are older than that too. Boom, there we go. Well, what I'm interested in too, though, is why they had you know, too drastically different unless there's like a difference in what they're supposed to be. But you can see here on this guy the purple, the bruised purple that went in there into the shadows. Very, very subtle, but it is enough of a color change to make somewhat of a difference. I'm actually going to increase this by 1. It'll help you see it a little bit more. We also have an altered chaos flag on top of this guy. Orcs were my first love, man. They were my first Warhammer Fantasy army, sort of. They were like the first army that I was like, this is what I want. I know why I want them, you know, like, it wasn't just sort of like whatever I got first. And then they were also my first Warhammer 40k army as well. Were some good old boys, some of them space orcs. As they say, Orcs and I go back like spinal cords, man. Something in my eye. It's an eyelash. Alright. So now that we've got that finished as well. So, on the armor itself, we've got maybe like 2 things per guy, so we got 3, so any type of leather like that. We got the loincloth and the shoes and gloves, so that's all not metallic. Everything else would be pretty much getting it though. And yeah, that looks like it's pretty much the same for all of them regardless. I love this shield. How funny, right? Okay, so let's do something. Let's do something. I'd like to use maybe a color I haven't necessarily used before. Yes, this is an idea. This is an idea. So we're going to use this sparkling amethyst color from Reaper. One of their colored metallics. And then I'm going to mix it with my regular color that I always use for just standard silver stuff. That looks pretty good. I want it to be a little bit purpley, so there we go. Let's do a little thumb check. Looks good to me. Reason being, I want their armor to be patinaed with like orange, so like old rust. And obviously the analogous color to purple is orange, so 2 and 2 together. If you want something to look good, just follow science. Unless you don't believe in science, then go ahead and stop watching, because you shouldn't be allowed to use internet, but... So you can see here, it's this sort of like grayed out silvery purple, and this should be perfect for what I'm looking for. We'll apply all of this first, and then everything else will get just a uniform money wash. Other than some select colors that I know I won't necessarily be needing it for. This paint is thinned as well, very close to the same ratio as the paint before, so as it dries, you won't get as much of that zenithal, but you will get some of it. A lot of people don't really consider the fact that that works with metallic paints, and it definitely does. If you haven't done it, give it a shot. You just kind of have to be conscious of like how much you're thinning, because then obviously the paint will get crazy. Loving the coverage I'm getting, though. I mean, this is thinned pretty much the same amount that I thin everything else, and the coverage is fantastic. So I think that's the coverage of the Reaper Amethyst. Their colored metallics have really, really good coverage, and then obviously it's being helped as well with the coverage from the Army Painter Metallic, which, you know, next to like the one layer war colors is, you know, their stuff is pretty much as smoothly pigmented as I've found out there. There's a reason why I use it as much as I do. And by that I mean like exclusively. Their metals are pretty much the only ones that I use outside of the Reaper, like, you know, whatever they call it, gemline, colored metallic. I don't even think, you know, they have a name for it, but all their colored metallics I like a lot. And then the axe, this top axe is also a repurposed Warhammer axe. You can see this color going directly over black. Super awesome coverage, and it's super thin. Look at that. Boom. What's up, JV? JV is our man at the street. At the street, man on the street at conventions. He filled me in on really cool stuff that was happening at Snorrigin's Game Fair. Just kidding. Just kidding. Origins. Was he wearing gloves? I can't figure out what's going on with his hands, so we're going to pretend that he's just wearing gloves because there's metal, like, right here on the outside. Yeah, I'm going to pretend that's a glove, so I just literally can't tell on the sculpt, so only slightly a problem. Boom, and then we'll do the top. Whoa, why did I grab that metal? That's the wrong metal. I think I just got the mole in between his eyes painted. That's cool, I guess. We'll just pretend it's a piercing. Alright, alright, alright. So all this is dry. Very nice. It's not really picking up as much on camera because it's reflecting, but it is darker on the bottom halves of all these. Have you ever used the Vallejo metallic medium? Yeah, so what I like to use it for is if I'm needing to brighten something up a little bit. So like, let's say you are painting with a copper and you don't really want to use a completely new color for the highlight, and you want it to be very close to the original metallic color that you had, then just mix the metallic medium in with that original color, and boom, there you go. It will highlight it a little bit. Even though it is like literally just the plain like metallic flake inside of that paint, it will effectively, pretty much every time I've ever used it, lighten it up as if it were like a very odd white paint. So that's really what it's meant to be used for. Obviously, you can use it to make, you know, just whatever colored metallic you want, right? But really, I think what it's intended to be used for is for highlighting up your metallics and things like that. So, like, let's say you're trying to get into painting, but you don't have a ton of money to buy a bunch of metallics. Well, if you just buy like a, not necessarily gunmetal, but a little bit darker silver or something like that, a little bit darker gold and a little bit darker bronze even, with some of that, that essentially will allow you to highlight up all the way through as if you had multiples of those colors. So that's why I think it's a cool product. I have it, you know, as well. I don't use it that much, but in the rare chances that I've wanted to actually use it, it does what it's supposed to. So, there you go. And for those of you that maybe have never heard of it, that's what it's for. Now, a smarter person would probably dry brush all of this chainmail, etc., but we're not doing that today, of course. Team no dry brush over here. I just love how thin this is being applied, too. That zenithal is really showing through now, which is great. That just helps add more contrast and variance than obviously I'm actually painting on. So, working smarter and not harder will take you farther, as the garbage man says. Alright, so I need to do this relatively quickly since it's a large area. There we go. Just always want to make sure the surface tension's the same all over your application. That way you don't get any splotching, teabagging, whatever you want to call it. You know, tissue tears. Everybody has like a weird name for it. There is some line streaking happening there. I'll just sort of put an end to that. There we go. Boots with the fur. Oh, man. Okay. I wonder if he's wearing apple-bottom jeans, man. Shout out to T-Pain himself. Boom. I don't even know how many of these we have left to do the armor on. What? Ooh, quite a few. Okay, okay. So I haven't done one of these yet, so I'll just keep them consistent. So, you know, this top part is metal. So, as always, thanks so much for hanging out today while I throw some paint on these very ancient, old, dusty miniatures from 1983. Some old school TSR, official, advanced Dungeons & Dragons, orc miniatures, etc., etc. If it's your first time watching, make sure to drop in the chat hello. Let me know where you're watching from. I haven't really shared this video out, so I would appreciate if other people did share it as well. That'd be really cool. Make sure to check out minipainting.studio and the store there. This week we've got the periodic table of color on sale for the digital version for $5. And all the other tools available for sale there as well. Like the power-up palettes, the color exercise, and the brush control exercise, the non-metallic metal painting guide, all that cool stuff. Okay. Making some variance calls on these as I'm painting through them. So like on this guy, the others, I was assuming the chest would be leather, so on this guy I'll paint it as metal. That way, even though they're very similar, obviously, with the same color palette, yada 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 yada, they can be marginally different. And they're orcs. I mean, even though they're old school orcs, maybe old school orcs were a little bit more classier back in the day, but obviously orcs are known for being just like the Floridans of the D&D universe. Sorry to anybody that lives in Florida. I'm just kidding, of course. I should say the Florida mans of the D&D universe, so not really the cleanliest or most predictable, but cleanliest? Is that a word? I haven't had my usual coffee. I forgot to make it last night, so no coffee today for me. I've been doing overnight cold brew because my Keurig broke, so that's my only option. And if you think I threw away all those extra K-Cups, you are crazy, because inside the K-Cup, they're inside of a little bag. So I've literally been ripping the little bags out of the K-Cups and putting them in my overnight cold brew deal. When it comes to an addiction to caffeine, I take it seriously. Boom. All right, so 2 left after this guy. Oh, another lovely shield. I feel like this shield, if you ran into a creature that literally had a shield that looked like this, you know, I'd be like, yeah, I get why we're killing this thing, you know? I would understand it. Oh, look, my dad's in the chat. What a nice guy. I'll make sure to not post these so he can not see them. Oh, no, sorry, my fake dad. My fake dad's here. That's hilarious, since, like, my actual dad also has been in the chat before. Fake dad's here today. Don't worry about it. Real dad hasn't been here in a minute. That was so funny. When I told both of my parents about how they, like, both were on the stream at the same time or whatever, that it was just kind of funny. It was like, no, I don't think you understand, like, how hilarious people thought that was. Uh-oh. All right, we're in for a bit of an issue here. I'm running out of my color mix, so I'm gonna carefully try and remix that. Uh-oh. There we go. Yeah. All right, we got him. Thin it down a little bit. Boom. All right. For Father's Day, I did give my dad a Wild West Exodus starter. So he has that to paint up. So we'll be looking forward to, you know, shaming him over his miniatures next time he hops into the chat, since he said that he taught me everything I know. So just kidding, of course, but I really did give him that. So we'll see how he paints those up. It's been a while since he's had anything to paint, so hopefully he gets on that relatively soon. The awesome people over at War Cradle, of course, that do Wild West Exodus, also sent me another care package today in the mail. Let me see. So this is the... You can see some of them here. The beautiful resin from War Cradle. These are some of the Secret Service guys that protect Abe Lincoln. Abe Lincoln, of course, right here. He's the guy with the cool cloak. Boom. His weapon, right here, of course. Comes in 2 different styles. One where he's aiming it like a gun, because it is a gun/axe, and then one where he's swinging it like an axe. Definitely a cool box. Hold on. Hold on. Here you go. So that's him right there, swinging the axe. So my idea is to potentially replace the axe with a like banner pole, and then have an awesome like Union flag flying, and then having his Secret Service posse behind him, like it's an action movie, like The Expendables or something, and then just have like a completely just burned to the ground floor with like a Confederate flag on it, and just really make it obnoxious as possible. So my only like trolling thought behind that, for those that want to know my trolling thought behind that, so you know how like if someone paints a historical miniature and it's like a Nazi, or it's like it's, you know, it'll be like a rebel soldier or whatever, right? So people will be like, that's an interesting choice, right? And then people get all defensive, and they're like, I just appreciate history. I don't obviously appreciate Nazis, or whatever the case is. And you know, people always give them a hard time and everything like that. But you never, what you never see is the opposite. Like, what you never see is like American soldiers just like absolutely like brutalizing Nazis in like some kind of bust, or like a 54 mil sculpt. So for me, it's like, wait a minute. Why don't I just do the opposite of like what these people do? They're like, oh, I'm just honoring history. Well, me too. Get over it. But that's my plan for that. I think making a giant diorama out of it will be hilarious. If it gets entered into a, like, if I could finish it by ReaperCon, I absolutely would enter it into the historical category, even though, nah, you wouldn't. I mean, it's not historical, obviously, but I would love to do that. Title it something like "Sucks to Be a Loser," I guess. But that's literally my plan. I'm going to make just an absolutely in your face Abe Lincoln stomping on some loser Confederate rebels. That'll be a really fun one. I guess the only difference someone could technically say with that is they'd be like, nobody likes a sore winner. Oh, I love all that stuff. If you don't live in the South, you're not really inundated with all that stuff. Fortunately for you, that's the case. Shout out to whoever just bought one of the periodic tables of color. I'm gonna call you out right now. Let me check that out. Oh, I'm sorry to anybody on YouTube. I haven't really been saying anything, but of course nobody's watching or chatting over there, so that's fine. But I am always live on YouTube. Make sure you please go ahead and subscribe. All you have to do is click the button, please. Please click the button. But let me see what am I seeing here. So big thank you to Deborah. Shout out to you for purchasing that. But yeah, do subscribe to the YouTube channel. That will help greatly. All right, let me hop back over here. All right. So again, I'm using this purpley silver color because the patina that I want to use, the rust that I want to use on these Orky boys is going to be rust brown, of course, from Reaper. So it is super orange and purple are very dynamic colors on the color wheel, cough, cough, the periodic table of color. So that just means it'll look like you did more work painting than you really did. It just makes you look better as a human being. So if you just want to look better as a human being, play with your color temperatures. Obviously, that's a super vacuous statement. It means nothing, but this is the last guy that we're working on for doing the base color on this armor. And then we'll see if there's anything else that we need to mess with. So, like, if there's, I don't know. We'll look at whatever else I may end up painting. If it will benefit from the money whoosh, then we will do that. And then the money whoosh. Otherwise, I believe it's good enough for a money shower. So we will probably do that once this is finished. So, but again, thank you to everybody that's been buying the periodic table of color. It is on sale for, I don't know, what's set, so 75% off, or I don't know, what? I can't do math. All I do is paint. Either way, normally they're 15 bucks. Now they are 5. So if you want the digital version, which is cool for those of you that paint in front of a monitor or something, just literally leave it up on your monitor if you want. Or if you live overseas, because obviously your boy is not going to be printing overseas. Since I do print on demand and I make it all by hand, that's pretty much impossible. And I'm not going to figure out, who really wants to pay $20 international shipping. So, especially now that the US's international shipping is even more expensive. So yeah, we're not playing that game. Alright, so let's take a peek at these, figure out if there's anything else that I would want to do that needs more subtle shadow. As of now, this is pretty much all the subtle stuff. Everything else is pretty standard. I'm gonna be using a darker wash on anyway, so like bags and leather is all a separate process. So what we'll do is we'll just apply our world famous money wash. Ooh. This is how you shake wash. You roll it, you don't shake it. I was educated on that one. All right, let's crack this face open. Boom, look at the attitude on that face. This attitude explains my entire life. Look at that. It's a mix of I don't care and that's neat. There we go. All right, let's throw some of this whoosh. Do some whooshing. Now I need a bigger brush, so I'm gonna grab what I believe is a bigger brush right here. All of my brushes are like literally destroyed right now and they need to be cleaned. Here we go. We'll go with this nasty one. We'll leave the face right there just for viewing. All right. What a delectable wash. Look how much body it's got too. That's the whole point right there. Get that body. Get that figure. Let's see if it'll pool up the other way. Literally, what is that noise, guys? What is that noise? My teacher at Origins called wash talent in a jar. That's about right if they're still using it like that. All right, well, I have no idea what that super loud noise was, but also major shots fired at whoever taught you at Origins. Sorry, I don't care. You guys literally know I don't care. I'm just so problematic. All right. Anytime somebody talks about wash as being like talent in a bottle like that, they're usually referring to it in a way as like it's a good finishing step. When in all reality, you got to do a lot of work once you're done with a wash, so. That's like selling somebody a car that doesn't know you got to buy gas, right? I love the effect of this wash too, it's so good. Peter, yeah, no, I'm only interested in the Series 10. So Anne said that the Series 10 is exactly like our Series 30, except it is longer. And for me, I'm more interested in something like that. So I'm going to try their size 1 and size 2 to see if it helps me sort of differentiate stuff at a higher level in terms of some of the tricks that I pull. So that's really all. Let me see what I got going on. Michael calls it Dum Dum in a jar. That's pretty good. Pretty good. But again, one more time, just so egregiously, literally, it's like you're watching someone beg on Twitch for subscribers. Definitely check out the $5 periodic table of color. We got it on sale right now for the digital version. Of course, if you want the tabletop version or the poster, those are awesome too, but they're not on sale, unfortunately. But definitely give that a peek. If somebody buys another one today, I'm gonna go get some coffee. So thank you so much in advance if somebody wants to buy me a cup of coffee. Even though JV's in here talking about, you did what? You said a Brazilian? You just roasted Brazilian, not how, if it's any good, I'll ship some? Yeah, exactly. Wait, you just said K-Cup. Wait, Kosian coffee is better than K-Cups. Literally, you should call yourself K-Cup. And it's like Kosian coffee, right? Like, I think you could get away with it because it's your last name. But yeah, so JV sent me just like absolutely the nastiest, grimiest, darkest, just, dude, like, I opened up my mailbox and it was like somebody shipped me weed, right? Like the smell that just permeated through the mailbox, it was so just nasty and dark. And it was like the best coffee I've ever had. So definitely at least an iced form. So I like coffee to be super bold. Frequently, if I buy coffee from somewhere like Starbucks, I'll get, espresso shots to make it even worse tasting. So yeah, he was definitely the MVP for sending that stuff out to me. And it was great. It was so good. Same way, like I'm a red wine kind of guy. And I like red wine to just be like as dry and just disgustingly deep as possible. And that's what I enjoy. So I like wine that you have to get like a full glass deep before the next glass is amazing. And usually with really, really deep red wines, that's a very doable thing. Oh, this will be a fun application. We're gonna go super close for this application of the money whoosh.
It's gonna be hard to do. It doesn't matter. That's what happens.
The bubbles there are because I grabbed the bubble inside the actual container before I brought it out. But so the stuff that's inside this wash is there's one sneaky ingredient that people don't know about yet. And I think once people because I don't think there's a way. I feel like because I have like 5 different things mixed in with this, and at least 3 of them come from completely different companies. So that's why it's kind of like I don't think it's possible for someone to necessarily make something like this and put it on the market exactly the same because it's proprietary stuff like that. But that being said, I mean, the way that this grips to miniatures and stuff is just so sick. And it's exactly like I always talk about, right? I only want washes that I can push around. And look, you can push it around. See? I can literally move it to wherever I want it. I can uncover parts of a mini. I can do whatever I want with it. Now, when it starts to pool, what's interesting is that typically you would be worried about pooling like that, but the way that this dries feathers so crazy good because it essentially re-feathers as the surface area disappears. So like you can remember how much we applied. Well, actually you can't even tell because it's so wet. Let me see if I can get somebody that's drying already. So this is relatively good. Still really wet though. But it is starting to dry here around the top. Maybe if I zoom out, actually it'd be easier to tell. Now it's easier to tell if I zoom out. But you can see that it's so subtle. It essentially acts as a liner, and which is what I want from most stuff that's a zenithal, base color and everything like that. So definitely helps for my style of painting that's relatively super, super thin all the time. And the best part about this too, it actually dries darker than the way that it appears, which is like the opposite of most washes out there. So I can just slop it on, not necessarily worry at all about any of it. And this giant bottle lasts forever. Until it doesn't last anymore. There's a bubble. Come on. There we go. I've noticed too, you don't get as much pooling if you have a very, very even surface tension with your application. It actually pools less. It's kind of like If you have uneven, it wants to flow down more, but if it's even on top, it'll only pool directly at the very bottom of something. It won't just continue down the entire application, which is really, really nice. Like, consistency is key whenever you're batch painting, obviously, and then if you're doing something like a batch application, then that is really all you should be concerned with. But you can see how I'm able to push it and pull it around in the areas that I want it to pool. It's really not going to move much more than that, too, because it's thick. And then it dries super matte, which is a problem for a lot of brands out there. And no, there is no matte medium inside this. There are no golden products inside this, which I know is like a go-to for a lot of people that want to make their own wash. There's no dish soap. There's no flow improver. There's none of that nonsense people tell you to use. All right, our last boyo to apply it on. Good enough for me. All right. Oh, wait, sorry. Sorry, guy. Oh, but yeah, if Rick is watching... So yeah, Dave originally told me to email him months and months and months ago because he wanted to promo his book while then showing, like, by him promoting his book with me, and then I can send you guys some of my products, but there's no... Like, I'm just giving him a hard time at this point because he's done promoting that book, so there's no reason for me to do that. I mean, I would still like to get my products to you, but that ship has sailed in terms of his book. I don't really see what benefit he would get out of that. All right, so we have the Money Wash applied. We will put it to rest. Goodbye, dear friend Money Wash. You've been good to us. Make sure it's nice and tight. You don't want it to dry out on you. All right. So let's check our progress. Now this dude looks pretty dry, other than some of these recesses, but you can see how subtle the application of the wash is. It's a super gentle tone. Now then, remember, we went with more of a purple tone for our metal because we want to be able to use a rusty Patina Aguilera. So let me go ahead and show you what that would look like. Let me see. Rust brown right here. Let me see what this is. So I tried the new Citadel Color on Terrain. That seems like a bad idea, Michael. It seems to beat up. Yes, it does. So yeah, for large surfaces, the contrast stuff probably is not, unless you apply a gloss coat on top. I don't think it's necessarily the best. Oh, that's weird. Sorry, my preview window literally stopped playing for me. Sorry. That was super weird. For large surfaces. Hold on, we still good? Sorry. Okay. Whew, that scared me. It just like stopped. All right. But anyway, so unless you're doing a gloss coat on top, which is what I want to see people do more of with the contrast paints, then I don't think a large surface is your best bet. So, otherwise, right, I personally would only recommend it for your difficult colors like yellow, things like that. That won't require much highlighting. And then I also would recommend it, because I'm team anti-dry brush, if you have a lot of fur, this is a really, really good way for you to do implied highlights on fur, and you only pick out, right, a couple strands of hair at the very end. So you know, anything that you would traditionally dry brush with. So actually applying the contrast paint on top of metallic, like chainmail, things like that, especially if you're diluting it with the medium, is a similar thing to what I'm doing here, right? And I think that's a better option than dry brushing, right? It's just, not that I don't think dry brushing isn't like a helpful tool for someone that's new. I didn't roll my eyes just then because I'm being a troll. My eyes are super dry. But you know, it is messy, and that's what a lot of people kind of get hung up on, is they will start dry brushing at a certain point and then it's like a crutch and they need to use it all the time, right? So for applications like that, I think it's killer. You can literally do like everything that it does already with other products that are already on the market, right? The difference then here with the contrast paints is that you have tons of colors that are pre-mixed to choose from. So even though you're spending between $8 to $10 in the US or 13 to 15 in Australia, right? Even though it's expensive, the difference here is that I'm not buying like a $3 bottle of Quick Shade Medium from Army Painter plus whatever other paint I own. Instead, you're combining the two, right? So, you know, I think there is sort of where you end up saving cash. But yeah, so for things like that you would dry brush, I would rather use something like a contrast paint, and then applying a gloss coat first is always going to be more beneficial to you because it's going to make it slip and slide like things. So anyway, we got our rust brown right here. Shout out to Reaper, the biggest boys in the jungle. Which is funny. I mean, Reaper literally is like, whenever... Okay, right here, this is exactly what I want to show you. This is it. This is all it is. This subtle color shift right here between these two is like the part that impresses me most about the wash, because it's subtle with a super heavy application. That's all it is. You get this super subtle tint, very similar to the like a lower level highlight there. That's even better. It literally acts like a liner. You see what I'm saying? You get an outline on your detail and you don't get much else, which is what you want. And then where it does pool, when you guys notice after this dries, it's super, super subtle. You can remember right here, it was pooled like this much, and now this section is dry and you don't see it, right? It's a very, very interesting sort of subtle situation. So now we've got our rust brown out there. You know, this is super easy. We literally are taking like, I don't know, man, like 5 parts water, 1 part paint. And this is going to be our patina, which is going to super, super bounce and reflect off of our purple tone and stand out even more. Look at how awesome that rust looks. Why does it look that saturated? Because we have purple in our armor. It's simple color theory. It's not hard to do. It's literally science. That's why the periodic table of color is so worthwhile, because it helps you make those decisions without guesswork. It's not a gimmick. It's a real thing. Trust me, I went to college for it. The difference with a periodic table like the one that I have compared to a traditional color wheel is that on a traditional color wheel, you do not have any differences in the amounts of light and dark. On the colors, you only have a singular color wheel that shows you just one level of brightness. The periodic table goes all the way to almost white and all the way to almost black. So it helps you out throughout the entire process. I know JV has one. I know Peter has one. I know Brian in here has one. Actually, JV's mom has one. I wish that was a hilarious burn, but no. JV's mom literally has a periodic table of color. So the digital version, of course, is on sale. If you want a tabletop version, you can get it. They are available. The poster is super awesome on a wall. Whoop. So you can see this guy has dried. So if we zoom in super close, you can see our rust color right there bouncing off from the purple. And now remember too, obviously when I go back into a highlight, let me show you this right here real quick. So highlighting back up with our traditional color, very, very, very simple, and it helps out the whole effect because remember, this is just straight up silver. No color mixed in. Anytime this song plays, I know we're getting close to an hour. And there it is. So there's the finished silver. You can see it right there. It's got a lot of depth to it. It's really pretty looking. So That is why we went through all of those sort of different steps to get a super easy, great looking result. I mean, backing it even further up, I mean, I love that effect. From table distance, you know it's dirty armor. You know what you're dealing with. You can see me trying to push and pull this paint around. I'm actually staring at my wall to do the painting. I'm not looking at the miniature at all because it reflects too much under the lights. So when I'm streaming, I've learned that sometimes it's better for me to not even look at the miniature and instead just paint. There we go. All right, so I really want to do one of these faces, but they're all wet. Yep, they're all wet. We'll risk the biscuit. We'll do on one. It's fine. Dan Pearson, link to Color Wheel. It's minipainting.studio, and you can see it, periodic table. Or if you're literally asking for a color wheel, I have no idea, just Google it. You're going to get a million results for different color wheels. I will have some periodic tables with me at ReaperCon as well, for those of you that are going. Now, if you were lucky enough, now all my classes are signed or sold out, so sorry, all 5 of them are going to be sold out as well. However, that being said, for those of you that did sign up for the quick layering class, you all get power-up palettes for free. So hopefully you read the class description, but yeah, there's no miniature provided for that class. It is a long-form demo, and then you all get your own power-up palettes, and you can go home and become a better painter, because that is exactly what they do. No fluff, I stand by that statement. Every single person that's used one has become a better painter, so it is what it is. But so that's my offering this year at ReaperCon. And then my Zenithal class that I'm doing, the one session, you do get a miniature in that. That's an Executioner mini. If you were at the Atelier over the summer, you got that identical miniature as well. I'll be doing 3 different examples. Two will be monochromatic to sort of indicate like OSL lighting coming from outside the frame. And then one will be just done traditionally. And then, of course, at the end of that class, everybody gets to Zenithal theirs with the information that we've gone over previously. And then the class with Shoshi and I, we're actually working on a bust. So we're not sure about what we may or may not necessarily provide. In terms of that, it is a demo class and it is a small class, but we'll figure something out. Either way, we're going to both wait because we just need to order like for something. We're not going to be able to provide the bust for the class. It's going to have to be just a random miniature only because of the cost of that bust and the cost of the class. And as far as I know right now, you can't even buy it on the website. And Ron specifically said he would get it for us, but he's on vacation in Mexico. So, which I'm totally fine with, man. They worked hard to get that Kickstarter out the door, so he deserves a break. I'm a huge fan of seeing people take a break. I live vicariously through people that take breaks. I've painted 150 minis this week. This month, probably closer to 225. No break in sight. So, actually, I take that back. This weekend, on Saturday, I'll be playing a couple games with James. He's coming into town to play some Cav with me, but other than that, that'll be my one reprieve for the weekend. Need a yoga painting class. Not sure how you can do that, but I'd be interested in it. I would be more interested in like a meditation painting class where you get like super high on oxygen from like deep meditative breathing, and then you try and paint. Oh, by the way, secret. I literally meditate every day before I start painting. So while that was a joke, it 100% helps me. I used to think meditation, you know, was like a gimmick or whatever. It's definitely not. Like, if you are somebody that has a lot going on in your life, and as in just a lot of hats that you wear or a lot of different things to juggle, if you have anxiety, if you have depression, things like that, being able to put distance between your thoughts and everything else that's going on around you is a very beneficial thing. So when it comes to painting, you know, like literally I painted 90 miniatures in one day earlier in the week. And I literally did like a 20-minute session before starting to paint those. And like, I kid you not, like I was running around with my head cut off before I was like, all right, now we're going to sit down and work on these. And when I was finished meditating and I got down to like begin to work on all of them, it was nothing. It's like you know, your brain just pretty much resets and is ready for action. So I would be interested in a meditation painting class. It's really, meditation for me at least is really good for small immediate goals. So like if I have a lot of stuff to get done in a day, even though it may seem like a lot of stuff in the grand scheme of like a week or a month, it's really not that much stuff. So meditating and focusing on those goals for like 10 minutes makes it so much easier to go through your day, because it sort of like reshapes your mind space. So if anyone actually gives that a shot, I mean, I would suggest it. You know, the what's it called, Headspace app, or I think it's Headspace, and then Mindful is another one. Those apps are really good if you've never done anything before. Meditating for sure is also something that like you need sort of to be like a guided meditation is what it's called the first few times, and then because there's really like two different ways that people meditate in terms of what happens to them, and then some people fall in between. So some people are like physical meditators, and it's about going into a breathing pattern, and then you just, it's that like that level of oxygen literally calms you down and gets you into a good space. And then there are the visual meditators, and those are people that literally envision like everything that they'll be working on that day, or they envision what they're thinking about while they're meditating, things like that, and that sets their mindset the right way. So some people, you know, it's a mix of the both, but whenever you figure out what works for you, you really don't need anything else. Like you can just take a little break, close your eyes. Sometimes actually too, you don't have to close your eyes, depending on what you're doing, but I'm not kidding. You know, try that out before you start painting, especially if you're someone that paints at the end of the day. I would definitely suggest that, because you've been worked up all day long. So put some of that in the grooves that are very subtly sculpted. So you can remember right there in the corner pocket of the helmet how super dark all that wash was. Now that it's dry, it's like it was never even there. Literally, this wash is like for lining. I mean, it's I don't know. I can only talk about it so much. I mean, come on. But this is also the first time I've really shown it off on stream like that. I've been using the 2.0 for a while, but I hadn't made a big batch of it, so that's what the big bottle of it was for. And now that I have a big batch, you know, I'm going to be working through it until it's dead. And then we'll put that to rest, and then a couple months after, I'll approach the drawing board again, and we'll come up with another one. So that's the thing, too, right? A lot of the time, what happens with these is that a company will change something about their product over a course of like 6 months or a year. So something that I was using previously, I either have to replace or figure out a good alternative to. So that's kind of just the ebb and flow of it. So you remember how dark that wash was on the bottom? As it slowly evaporates into obscurity. What's funny too is it has a little bit of a belly because that's still wet underneath there. But what's really cool is that this stuff contracts so much that it'll be gone. It will be gone. Peter, I think you for sure should be meditating. If you haven't given it a shot, I think it would really help you. It's like there's no trick to it. It's literally so funny. Like, you may think it's gimmicky and that there's some trick to it, but literally, like, the first time you actually and meditate's not anything, by the way. It doesn't mean anything happens to you. You don't, like, nothing special happens. Literally, it's just you taking a break and just clearing your head, right? That's all it is. But that first time you sort of do it and you like physically feel different afterwards, you're like, well, why haven't I been doing this? It's crazy. It'll make you feel more alert and stuff too. I mean, I don't know. It really helps me out. And it was something that I had to actually, you know, practice doing to get used to it. But it helped a lot, man. Especially too, one thing that I noticed ever since I sort of got into it is that I will utilize it in other situations. So if you're not supposed to think about anything while you're meditating, right? Which you're really not supposed to. That's the goal. It's just you have a blank head for like 10 minutes and it's almost as if you got hours of sleep in terms of like the clarity of thought. But you will have thoughts just come into your head, and the ability to go, that's a thought. So like the second you realize you're thinking about a scenario in your head or you're replaying something, as soon as your brain does anything else, you just go, that's a thought. And you just go right back to thinking about nothing, right? Or like, let's say you were upset about something earlier in the day and you remember what made you upset. You go, that's a feeling, because you're feeling upset, right? Like being able to just push an idea to the side and continue on is amazing. I mean, it's amazing. Like I say, you know, if I'm sitting down to paint 100 things at a time and my brain is like focusing and then distracted on these little things, being able to just go, that's a thought, that's not important, and then just staying on task is amazing. So, but that is a skill that I picked up from meditating directly. So, but anywho, look at how great that little tiny rust effect looks. Super clean, man. Yeah, I love it. I mean, I think this type of wash application is super, super clean because it's so subtle. So, and then, of course, like I was showing you guys earlier, to actually finish it out, right? Let's see if I can do it in focus. Now, I'm painting this at a very odd angle right now, so I don't know if this is right, but... So then we'll zoom it out. So, there you go. And you can tell, I mean, pushing out the purple by just highlighting up makes it super, super clean, super visible. From table distance, it's gorgeous looking, super high reflection. But I like those orc sculpts. How did you get them? I got them from my boy Trace. So, we've been streaming for like way too long today. Hour and a half almost. So, anyway, yeah, they're from a commission. Fred, I think I looked on eBay and I couldn't find any. I know they're like impossible to find though. So, anywho, that is it for today. I hope you enjoy seeing a couple different applications for like bulk methods that I've been using. But that is it. Ooh, sorry, I'm having really bad heartburn. Tomorrow I may end up doing some Wild West Exodus. I'm not sure. If not, it's Friday, right? Tomorrow's Friday. So yeah, tomorrow's Friday. So then that way maybe instead we'll do Reaper Friday. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But either way, you guys will see me tomorrow at like 2 p.m. And that will be it. Thanks so much for hanging out. I appreciate you. Remember, if you haven't subscribed, make sure to the YouTube channel. Make sure to click the link that's in the description on this post and just subscribe to the channel. And that'll be it. I'm going to be uploading more long-form content on there in the future. So if you're already subscribed, you're good to go. Because there will be stuff that I just don't talk about. And I'm just going to drop it on there. So, but that will be it for today. I appreciate you. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And I will see you tomorrow for Reaper Fridays. Take it easy.